Hi, everyone. My name is Jason Fisk, and I'm the Executive Director of UCLA School of Law's Master of Legal Studies program. So this video is all about the application to our Master of Legal Studies program. Naturally, it's a competitive program to get into, and so we want to make sure everyone has the ability to put their best foot forward as far as being able to successfully apply for this program. And of course, you can always connect with us if you have further questions about either the program or the application process. We are more than happy to help. And additionally, if you're looking for more information specifically about the program itself, I suggest you watch the video that's created that's labeled a general information session. That's more about the details of the program, while this one is only about the application itself. So starting with the upcoming application deadline. So the main deadline for this August 2021 start is April 26th. So that's the upcoming general application deadline. However, we are in rolling admissions. And so whenever you end up applying, your application will just immediately go into review. So it's suggested to apply as early as you can and get it in, submit it, because then you could potentially have your application decided upon much more early than you would otherwise if you wait all the way till April 26th. Now, quickly here about the COVID-19 update for the program, as this is a frequent question. And the program is happening. So it's just a matter of if the classes are going to be online or if they're going to be partially in person. So the part-time students, for example, the schedule would look like Tuesday nights, 6:30 to 9:30 would be on campus. And then Thursday night would be online. And so that would be the schedule one time a week on campus for the whole first year. Then the second year, you can take online classes, you can take in person, you kind of mix and match the two. So there's more flexibility in that second year as far as what that might look like overall. But that's the gist of what you can expect. Now, if the coronavirus still affects us, then same as this year, just both those nights for the first year would just simply be online. So, and if you're a full-time student, then as a full-time student, then either most of your classes would be in person for both the 2 semesters, or they would just be online for the 2 semesters, just depending on what the coronavirus allows us to do. Now, the UCLA is the #1 ranked public university in America and is actually the #1 most applied to university in the country. And it's also the law school is the #1 law school in Southern California. Now, about the application itself, which is what this whole video is all about. So there's several different documents that you need to submit to complete your application. So first, you're going to go and request an application from our website. Once you do that, that's going to trigger the system to send you a link. Check your spam to make sure that you don't miss that link coming through. Then you'll click on that link and that'll take you to the UCLA Graduate Division's webpage. You'll then create an account through the UCLA Graduate Division. Then you'll select the Master of Legal Studies program. It'll be labeled as MLST. Then you'll select the 2021-2022 academic year, and that'll be that. So that's how you'll create your account. Then you'll be able to upload your information and documents and get log out, log in, that when at will until you complete the application. The first item that you'll need is the transcripts from all your education. We recommend doing this right up front. This should be like one of the first things that you do because it's one of the items that takes a little bit longer than the other ones because you're relying on a third party. You're relying on a university separate. So thus get the transcripts requested. We suggest e-transcripts as far as how you get them to us. Have them sent directly to mls@law.ucla.edu. Instead of, if you send them yourself, then that would be considered unofficial, which actually is fine for the application deadline. It can be completed. We only need official or unofficial. But if you give us unofficials, then after you're accepted, then you need to send us your officials at a later time. So we just suggest, just do e-transcripts, just have it sent directly to us, then you're done completely when that happens. Most all schools are doing e-transcripts nowadays. Next is your resume. So the resume is all about featuring you and your jobs, responsibility, your accolades, what you've been able to accomplish so far, your responsibility levels, that kind of thing. because in the program for admission, we look at two primary factors for admission. First, we look at the strength of the academic background of each individual. So we look at where did they go? How did they do? Do you have graduate degrees? For 40% of our students in the program have a graduate degree. So that's the first factor. How are they going to succeed in the academic environment, which is rigorous, as shown and evidenced by your previous academic performance? Now, the second factor is your work history. Where do you work? What's your job level? What's your responsibility level? What kind of accomplishments and accolades do you have? Those two things are balanced together to determine admission decision. If you are, let's say you're right out of undergraduate and you're applying for the full-time program, then there will be heavy weight put on academic performance because that's most recent. And so that will be a very heavy factor. If instead you're further out of undergraduate, then your work history will be a very heavy factor in determining admission. So and if you're somewhere in between as far as experience goes, then it'll be equally balanced accordingly. So for example, we had students who were accepted that came right out of undergraduate, 21, 22 years old type thing. That was basically all on strength of academic background. Conversely, we had a student accepted who was 72 years old. The average age is 39. We had a 72-year-old who was accepted. She naturally, what she did in her undergraduate 50 years previously was not very relevant. Now, she did great, but that was not as relevant, of course, as her 50 years of experience that she had been doing and accumulating over that time. So that's, if you're somewhere in between, which most people are, then it would be balanced accordingly. Now, there's two documents that you're going to be writing. So the first is the personal statement. So the personal statement is all about your story. What kind of adversity have you had to overcome in your life? How did you become who you are today? So that's the personal statement. The statement of purpose is a very important document. It shows, what is your purpose for doing the degree? What are you looking to get out of it? How is it going to advance your career? That kind of thing. So the admissions committee will not accept anyone who doesn't have like a clear idea as to how this can help them. Now, I didn't say a clear idea of what their path is because, who knows what anyone's path really is in the end, but you do need to have a good idea as to why this will benefit you. Now, maybe you know how it'll benefit you in this exact position you're in, and that's amazing. That's great. Maybe you have skills you want to build up for the next step. Whatever it is, let us know, and that's an important thing for us. Next is recommendation letters. So you need at least 2 to be submitted. Now, people ask all the time, who should be my recommender? Well, the answer is, as any good lawyer would say, is it depends. And so it depends on what part of your application you want to bolster. Do you want to bolster a strength? Do you want to try to shore up a weakness? That's totally up to you and your strategy for your own application. It's natural, of course, if you're closer out of undergraduate to have a professor do it, if you still are in good relationship with anyone. That makes sense. For people who are further out, it's rare to get a professor then, of course. Then it's much more about who's your supervisor, a colleague, a client, a coworker, just someone who can attest to something for you. So a lot of time we see good recommendation letters that come in where someone is really talking to a person's work ethic, intelligence, problem solving, whatever it is, but that they can really focus on an attribute of you. Those can be good recommendation letters. If you're an international applicant, so if you did your education outside of the United States, you would need both the transcript evaluation and a translation of your transcript if it's not in English, and also a English standardized test. So that would be the TOEFL or the IELTS. Either one will do, but that is a requirement. Now, if you come from an English-speaking country, of course, and did your education in English, you're likely not to need the English language test naturally. But if instead you didn't, then you will need that. If you have a question, if you need this or not, let us know, and we'll inform you if you need to do that. So just ask us. mls@law.ucla.edu. Now, standardized test. It is not a requirement for you to do a standardized test for our program. Not a requirement. However, some people do. Most people don't, but some people do. And why they do might be to strengthen that academic background portion. So maybe, your GPA wasn't the strongest, or maybe you didn't go to the strongest school or whatnot. Then sometimes people like to put in a standardized test score just to kind of bolster that part of the equation a little bit. And so whether it's the GRE, GMAT, LSAT, doesn't matter to us. We recommend doing one of those. Well, you have the option of doing one of those, to submit it. Now, again, most people do not do this, but I just want to let you know, just so you fully know there. Now, again, the application deadline is April 26th, and to reiterate, rolling admissions, and so we suggest getting those in as soon as possible. Once you submit your application, that's the first round will be the review of the applications. Finalists for admission will go to the interview stage. In the interview stage, it's an in-person interview. By in-person, we mean on Zoom, but it'll be live, it'll be synchronous with usually two people, like a couple of professors or whatnot. There's an in-person, that Zoom portion, and there is a written component. Now, the in-person component, we'll be talking through your resume. We'll be looking for enhancement on things from your application as the first part of it. The second part of it will be in advance. We're going to provide you a couple cases and some things for you to read, and then we'll ask you the questions about those cases in the interview. So we're going to want to get a little feel for how you'll perform in the classroom. So, again, we don't require standardized tests. So this is kind of like the replacement for that to make it easier for you, so you don't have to worry about a standardized test. Now, there's no studying required. You don't need to know anything at all about the law to succeed in the interviews. All you need to do is just have those couple cases we provided in advance, read those, study them well, then come in. You have to read, don't do anything else, just those things, and then you're good to go. The written portion is a quick written test, and essentially it'll just test, we want to see how you think and how you write. And that's it. You don't have to know anything about the law whatsoever. It'll be like a little business scenario and ask you to kind of analyze it. So we just kind of want to see how your brain moves and how your brain ticks. So those are the two components of the interview stage. Then based on this, we'll make the admission decision. So it'll either be accepted, waitlisted, or denied. So that'll be one of those are the three options. Now for scholarships, there are two different scholarships where no application by you is needed at all. You'll be automatically considered. The first is the Bruin Scholarship. This is up to 20% off of tuition. Now, to earn the top level award for this, you have, we'll weigh that strength of academic background and work history together, same as admission standards, and that would determine level of award up to 20%. The second is the UC or CSU Employee Scholarship. So if you work for a UC or a CSU in any capacity, maybe you're a faculty, staff, whatnot, as long as you're full-time, then you would automatically receive this award, and this would be in place of the Bruin Scholarship. Now, there's a couple scholarships where application is required, and this would just be simply uploading a supplementary document to your application. So the first one is the Blue and Gold Scholarship. This is our needs-based scholarship. So if you're under an extraordinary financial need, then this is where you would apply. So you essentially lay out why you have the financial need and why you would need additional scholarship funding, and then the admissions committee will look at that as part of the scholarship award portion of the admissions proceedings. So that's the Blue and Gold Scholarship. Now, this is important to us as a public university because our program is all about access and excellence. And so we want everyone to be able to access this top quality education regardless of financial need. And so we take this very seriously, particularly as a public university, and we consider it very important. So if you are feeling you just really have a need for additional scholarship funding, please do apply for that through the Blue and Gold Scholarship. Again, just attach to the supplementary document and write out a kind of a description of why. Then the Government and Nonprofit Leader Scholarship. So this one is if you are looking to be or are in government or working for a nonprofit, then apply for the scholarship and tell us why is this degree going to help you be a good leader in that industry. Now we also include journalists under this. So so if you're a journalist, you'd also be under this category essentially. And so again, tell us why this degree is going to help you lead in that industry. And then you'd be considered for additional aid. So again, these 2 scholarships are by application. They are on top of the Bruin Scholarship, on top of this UCCSU Employee Scholarship. And so those are things to, if you would be qualified for you to apply to. Now, as far as next steps is concerned, first, if you haven't already, fill out a contact form on our website. That's not on the slide, but fill out a contact form. This will allow us to give you our e-brochure for the program with more information. It'll kind of get you connected with updates and information about things going into the future about the program. So we definitely recommend that as a starting point. Then, you can schedule a call with an admissions advisor to speak with us if you'd like. And then, of course, start or finish your application. The rolling admissions, feel free to do it anytime. And we can't wait to work with you through this process. And I really hope that to see you in the incoming class this August of 2021. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.